was important.
Let's try this again because, frankly, we had the microphone off. So we'll do this again. We're talking with Jesus Ochoa, who is the ex officio. I'm Ted Langdell, and we are here at the First and D Street location where the FFA is serving pancakes, peaches, and sausage, along with Starbucks coffee. Yes, indeed. It's all hot. It's all ready to go, and you can come down and get some breakfast. So this particular breakfast happening here benefits Marysville High School's FFA. Tell us a little bit about how that works and what does that mean for your annual operations, this particular breakfast.
Yeah, so throughout our chapter, we'll have multiple fundraising events, but it all goes into one chapter account that fuels our chapter events, activities, trips, and competitions throughout the entire year. So this fundraiser specifically is very important to us for being able to keep the longevity of our activities going on.
So what kind of activities do you have, Mia?
So we have a lot of competition teams that our students choose to compete with, and so it gives us an opportunity to travel, and we get to go to different competitions, we get to view colleges, and then we also have all of these conventions that we like to go to, which is amazing. It's a great opportunity. We get to go to Southern California, and then we get to go to Indiana for a national convention. And it's basically just where all these FFA members from all around the United States meet. It's a huge deal for everyone, and it's a great opportunity for our students.
It sounds like this gives people who might not otherwise have an opportunity to travel and do things like that, the ability to go do things that would be otherwise outside of their perhaps financial ability
100%.
or just otherwise. Where do you go and what do you learn? What sorts of things do these trips enable you to do that you wouldn't be able to do locally, for example?
Yeah. So when I first joined FFA, for example, I was very detached from agriculture. I barely even knew what it was. And so being able to travel to different areas where agriculture is more popular and more sought after was really eye-opening for me and allowed me to connect to agriculture in a way that I wasn't able to here in Marysville.
So your background prior to getting into FFA involved what?
It involved mostly just living in Marysville. I feel like I'm very, not detached from agriculture, but I feel like it's kind of distant from what I was used to. I was just used to working and then going home and focusing on school. I wasn't really focused on the agricultural aspect that actually takes part in our world. And I didn't understand how important it was until I was able to go to these trips and meet these FFA members.
So what got you involved in FFA? What drove your interest? Because if you're not necessarily involved in animal husbandry or farming or raising fruit trees or something like that.
Yeah, so the way I actually got into FFA is kind of funny. I got into it on accident because I signed up for the wrong biology class.
Okay.
But it actually, it was a complete mistake, but it actually turned out to be a huge blessing. And I saw myself, even though I was detached from agriculture, finding interest in FFA that would help me not just build my agricultural knowledge, but overall build characteristics in myself that I use every day.
So this really sounds like it changed your direction in ways that you hadn't anticipated?
Yeah, so I didn't really know what I was going to plan for, especially for my 4 years of high school, but FFA took that straight away, and it helped me build a career path and help me look at new opportunities in the world, and also just help me be a better leader, which I think everyone should have at least some leadership aspects inside of them. And I believe that FFA does this in a perfect manner.
So your original focus getting into high school was to do things with biology. What area of biology and how did that change? What do you want to do now?
So at first, I didn't really understand what biology was. I understand it was like the study of cells. But other than that, I found it interesting, but I didn't really know how it spread out. And I found out that biology is actually huge and it has multiple different branches. Throughout my time in FFA, I found myself really interested in genetic engineering and genetic modification. And I think if it wasn't for FFA, I wouldn't be able to find these career paths in biology that I wouldn't have thought of.
So it sounds like FFA got you into the science and technology and engineering and mechanics.
Yeah, absolutely.
STEM.
STEM, yeah.
And
STEM.
some people would want to make it STEAM with the arts. And I guess it is kind of an art as well because you're having to try to figure out the subtleties because agriculture is not an exact science.
Yeah.
It involves a bit of being able to take some guesswork and do some things. So let's find out from Mia a little bit about how you ended up in FFA.
I grew up like towards the hill. I grew up around like farming areas, and I have a lot of friends that are farming, but I was never fully interested in it. My cousin, she graduated 2 years ago, and she initially was like, "Hey, you should take these classes," and I was like, "Okay, I'll try it out." And from then on, I've kind of just been hooked. I found something that I'm really passionate about. Going into high school, not really knowing what I wanted to do, it was good because I totally just found myself where I think I should be, and it's been a really great opportunity for me.
What hooked you?
I think the atmosphere and the environment of just being like connected in a group, and like that's the best part for me, is having a core group of people and a community that I feel like I can build myself up on, and it just feels great to like have something that I can be connected to like that.
So in FFA, what do? You are the reporter.
Yes. So I manage all of our social media accounts, and I do a lot of advertisement for our chapter. And I just help run meetings, and I help advertise everything so that people know about our opportunities that we offer and all sorts of things that our chapter does.
So tell us a little bit about what your chapter is doing. Obviously, right now, you folks are serving breakfast to a couple hundred people or perhaps more.
Yeah. So right now we're raising for mainly state convention this year. I don't think we're going to go to nationals. But our chapter right now, we're working towards state and all sorts of like other trips and opportunities. We want to be able to have more competition teams and to be able to compete in higher levels and everything. So we're really working towards that and to get our competition teams up.
So what kinds of areas do you compete in? Or do your other colleagues?
So we have a lot of speaking competitions, and we have a lot of, we have like judging teams.
Yeah, so we have LDEs, which are leadership development events, which focuses on building a character out of yourself and building skills that will help you in your future. And there's career development events, which are based on a specific type of career path that you want to hone into. So for example, at our school, we have veterinary science competition, which helps you if you want to get into the veterinary side of professions. We have an ag mechanics team if you want to get into the mechanical aspects. And then we also have other teams like dairy judging, where if you want to get more into the farm aspect and get to learn about dairy, we have the opportunities. So last year we had multiple teams and competitors go to the state level. And this was all due to our funding that we've been able to acquire through things like Peaches and Pancakes and other fundraisers that we host here at Marysville FFA. And overall, I think it helps build a community together in a place that's not so well known, and also just gives these kids and students multiple opportunities that they weren't able to have in the normal intercurricular system.
So how much money does it take to run a FFA chapter like Marysville?
It's a lot.
That might be a better question for our treasurer for sure.
Yeah.
But
well, you're the ex officio.
Yeah.
You ought to have that answer. I mean, are you looking at a couple of $1,000s? Are you looking at $10,000 or $15,000, $20,000? What? Because I know flying back and forth or driving places is not inexpensive. Having traveled around the country myself.
Yeah.
So for our trips and conventions, it's usually our students who pay the money to go. But
we fundraise to try and help them out a lot.
And last year, we also had a donation given to us by the Yuba River Endowment for $40,000.
Wow.
And that lasted only about a year.
Okay.
That's how much money is going actually into our system, and that's why fundraising is so important for our students.
So how can people help you today?
So we are very community focused. So if you're in the Marysville area, I mean, come by the Peaches and Pancakes, buy some pancakes, buy some peaches, and just help fund our chapter. Anything matters to our chapter, really.
And then keeping up with our social medias, we'll post about everything so that you know when a fundraiser is coming up and that you know about the opportunities that we're giving out for fundraising.
So how can people follow you on social media, and do you have a website in addition to social media? I think there's probably one on the Marysville High School page.
Yes, you can get all of our information on the Marysville High School page, or we have an Instagram and a Facebook.
Do you have those addresses handy in your brain?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and tell people?
It's Marysville CA-FFA on Instagram and on Facebook.
That's Marysville CA like California.
Yeah. FFA.
Okay. Marysville CA-FFA.
One word, no capitals.
Okay, and what's after that?
That's just the Instagram name,
We just have the Instagram and Twitter. We used to have a website running, but that was during the COVID era, and so it hasn't necessarily been updated. but it's something that we're looking to update. We're also looking to install a TikTok in order to try to spread our information to as many people as possible and get word about our chapter.
If you go to the Marysville High School website, then you can find more information about our FFA chapter.
Okay.
So.
Now, you've got some new things happening with the Marysville FFA chapter and the ag classes at Marysville High. Tell us a little bit about what happened last year and what's new this year.
All right, so last year we had around 400 members out of 1,000 students.
Wow.
In Marysville.
You had 400 FFA members at Marysville High School?
420 something.
Yep.
Pardon me if I say holy cow or holy goat.
Yeah. But yeah, it's we're almost at the halfway point where half of our members, half of our students, are actually FFA members.
Wow.
Yeah. FFA is probably
is that a record for any schools?
FFA, it's if you're not really involved, it sounds like kind of a small organization. But in reality, there's so many schools where they are very FFA focused, and there are schools where almost every student or every student is in FFA.
Huh.
It's really interesting how just huge our organization is.
Where do you find schools where most of the kids are FFA members? Back in places where agriculture is the main thing, like Kansas or...
So we have our national conventions, our state conventions, and state competitions. Personally, I've been very interested in these. I've been to the state competition last year, and through that, I was able to meet so many new people from all across California. And I also went to Indianapolis with Mia, and we were able to talk to people from all different states about how their organizations run, how the agriculture is run in their state, and just how the local areas are able to grow due to agriculture.
Does that give you a different perspective or a wider perspective on the United States and our society in general?
Oh, 100%. Especially considering the fact that all different kinds of agriculture comes from all different kinds of states. California is probably the main agriculture producer in about the world. We produce a lot of the world's agriculture, and we are like known as the everything state because we do everything here.
Yeah.
So,
what benefits have you personally experienced as a result of interacting with students and ag teachers from around the country?
It's been nice to be able to develop a lot of connections with these people because you get to hear a lot about how they do things in their communities, and it's very good to take input from those because some things that work for them could also be working great for you if you just try it out, you know? So it could really help improve our chapter and also just help us improve as a whole, like everything.
Cool. So Marysville has an FFA chapter, but I think all of the high schools in our area have FFA chapters. With those schools, do they have as many student FFA participants? What's the ratio like there?
So in some counties like Sutter, where there's a lot of farming going along just in that area in general, Sutter's just out where all the farming is. There's a lot of members out there. Sutter probably has one of the larger FFA populations. Yeah. So they have a lot just based on like where their like area is. So that plays a part in it for sure.
So Mia, have you decided what you want to do after you graduate?
I want to be an ag educator.
Really? Because of your experience?
Yes. I want to be the person that helps these kids and teaches them.
So what are your next steps? You're a senior?
Yes, I'm a senior.
Okay. Class of
2024.
2024. Believe me, I'm 50 years out of high school. And maths was never one of my good subjects.
All right, me neither.
I think I took algebra 3 times and a pre-algebra class at Marysville High. I went to Marysville 6970, and then we moved the parents' furniture store to Terra Buena, so I graduated from Yuba City in 73. Was a yearbook editor, for whatever that means. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But it sounds like you've found yourself in FFA.
Yeah.
Did you expect that when you started?
I had no idea. I never really knew anything about farming or agriculture. It's not even just farming. It's agriculture can tie into just about anything if you think about it. But I never really thought of myself being around here or like doing anything like this or being this involved in the community. But it's been so nice and so eye-opening for me, and I really enjoy being a part of it.
And you would encourage other people who may be thinking, well, I don't know anything about FFA. It might be weird.
Like when people say that, like, oh, I don't think it's my cup of tea, I promise you, you will find something because it is everything. There's so much that the umbrella of ag covers, like you will always find something for you in FFA or ag.
Cool.
Absolutely.
And what do you plan to do, Jesus, when you graduate? You're also a senior.
Yep.
All
So
right.
I'm planning on attending a 4. Oh, you're good.
Go ahead.
I'm planning on attending a 4-year college, either majoring in agriculture, agribusiness, or biomedical engineering to get into that genetic engineering field.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I'm looking straight into getting an internship or a job somewhere in the genetic engineering field in order to build my future from then. I will always have connections with FFA, and I feel like being able to be a genetic engineer and being able to be someone involved in agriculture will allow me to make other connections within the agriculture world that will stem up from my FFA relationships.
And genetic engineering attracts you because?
I just think the field is super interesting, and I really think that if this study is conducted well and thorough, then we will be able to produce a lot more food. The USDA states that by the year 2050, the population will amount to 9.6 billion people, which means we have to feed 3 billion other people. And I believe that the way to do this is through genetic modification. And that's what really interested me to get into this field and really sparked my interest.
A little slice and dice here and there.
Yeah.
That's kind of like video editing in a different way.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, it sounds like you've found yourself in FFA, and I don't think, from what you've said, you expected to do that.
Yeah, no, not at all.
All right. So for anybody else that is interested in learning more about FFA, there's a whole group of people in back of us here who know how to make pancakes, who know how to serve pancakes, and who know how to tell you more about FFA if you ask them. I noticed that, for example, they're wearing shirts from last year's, or from this year's Yuba-Sutter Fair, the chapter that shows together, grows together. So hopefully nobody gets stuck on themselves like Velcro, but maybe somebody's going to get married out of all of this. Have no idea. A little I don't know, relationship engineering there. Cool. Well, we've appreciated talking with you, and do you realize we've been doing this for 18 minutes?
Not at all.
Did it seem like 18 minutes?
Nope.
And I'm sure you could go on and on and on.
Absolutely.
There's surely a lot to
All
talk
right.
about.
Yep.
Well, it sounds like you guys are having a lot of fun in FFA, and it's made high school a more enjoyable experience for you.
Absolutely.
All right. So if you are thinking that maybe you're too nerdy to be engaged in a group with people, go talk to Mia and Jesus and some of their colleagues in back of us here, because they've got a few things to tell you. And we are here at the Peach Festival. You're going to see crowds beginning like this in about 40 minutes or so. And we are here at the corner of 1st and D Streets in Marysville, right in front of the Silver Dollar Saloon, where there are lots of table space available. And when we're done here, there will be a couple, 3 more seats available, and you can come down and fill them. Tell us again what the cost is and the benefits.
All right.
Cost for breakfast?
So the cost for the breakfast is $8 at the door, and it's $6 on pre-sale.
Okay, so how do you get the
The pre-sale?
yeah.
So the pre-sale isn't really available anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's $8.
$8.
$8
Yep.
Yep.
$8. And the pancakes batter is really good. I understand it came from IHOP,
I think so.
and the coffee came from Starbucks, and the labor came from Marysville High School FFA. So we hope to see you down here, and we'll be doing some reports in about 40 minutes or so as the second day of the 23rd Peach Festival gets underway here in Marysville, California. I'm Ted Langdell. If I push the right button, you can even see me here doing live streaming, and we will continue doing so throughout various portions of the day. After, I think around noontime, coming up here is the peach pie eating contest, and that's always fun. So we'll be live streaming that. We will have some of the other things. There's music on 2 different stages, 3rd and D, 6th and D. There's all kinds of food. There's all kinds of beverages and ways to beat the heat, particularly by ducking into one of Marysville's fine businesses that line D Street, because they're cool inside and they've got cool stuff that you may appreciate. So, Ted Langdell here on Yuba-Sutter.live. We are here, and we are going to be showing you more about the Peach Festival, coming to you from downtown Marysville. Pick your time to attend the Marysville Peach Festival. It's happening Friday, July 14th and Saturday, July 15th in downtown Marysville. You'll find your old favorites like Sedaro's Cobbler and pies, peaches and cream, fresh peaches locally grown, and other fruit to take home and eat. Fun for kids and big kids. A City of Marysville event kept moving by Recology, Waste Zero, and by Yuba County. Say yes to Yuba. The 23rd Marysville Peach Festival happening Friday, July 14th and Saturday, July 15th in downtown Marysville. A City of Marysville event.